In today's video, I'm going to be presenting my picks for some of the best rally cars in GTA 5. Rallying is a vastly underrated racing form, especially in GTA 5. Barely any races Rockstar created focus on it. And the limited amount of off-road races we get, we have to do with big trucks or bikes, and often don't even focus on dirt roads but rather real off-road sections. However, there are members of the community who put a lot of passion into creating awesome rally tracks. And of course you can always just take your rally car in free roam and explore some epic roads on yourself. If you want to do that at high speed with great performance, the cars I selected today are for you. The Kuruma is the first rally car on this list. It is pretty solid due to its traction loss multiplier of 0, which means that it performs really well on dirt. However, its base stats make it a bit weaker compared to the other rally cars in GTA 5. Another huge drawback for the Kuruma is its tendency to roll over quite quickly. This prevents you from full sending a lot of times and also doubting your own abilities a lot, especially on rougher terrain. However, overall it's a nice car that is also quite cheap with a price of only 126,350 or 95,000 if you do the Flicker job heist finale. Bonus information, its top speed is 182, which isn't very high, but it doesn't get impacted by off-road, so it still remains 182 on off-road surfaces. Our next car, the Tropos Rallye, is a little bit faster than the Kuruma due to its base stats. However, its traction loss multiplier is 0.4, so it suffers a bit more from dirt sections. Added to that, it's rear-wheel drive as well, meaning it's a little bit harder to control and on especially more difficult terrain compared to the all-wheel drive Kuruma. However, its rollover tendencies are a lot less than the Kuruma, making it for a more stable and enjoyable drive. It also offers a more vintage rally look for the people that prefer that over the more modern look of the Kuruma. Overall, it's a well-driving car that lacks a little bit in performance compared to the top cars, but can definitely hang with some other cars. Bonus information, its price is 816,000, which is a lot more than the Kuruma, but still not as high as some of the other models. And it has a top speed of 192, which is pretty decent for a lot of the rally cars. Talking about the modern car, next up we have the yeah, however you pronounce it. Anyways, this rally car has a highly advanced and powerful electric motor, although made in France, so how advanced we don't really know. But it gives it great acceleration, also making for a very fast car. However, the lacking feeling of an engine makes the driving experience a little bit more bland, sadly, which is a bit bad on dirt roads where you really want to slide a bit and stuff. That's also a big point. It has insane grip, which is very nice performance wise, but once again a bit boring for the driving experience. You don't really have that feeling of you against the car on the road. You just drive it doesn't make any sound. It's quite boring. I mean, overall it's a fast car, but like I said, lacking a bit of soul. Also its price tag of 1.99 million, it literally is 1.99 million, is quite steep. Some bonus information, its top speed is 184, obviously impacted by a traction loss multiplier a little bit, so an off-road section it won't reach that quite as well, so for example the Kuruma would be faster. Next up we have the Flash GT, which is quite a cool car and has great acceleration, good grip off-road with a traction loss multiplier of only 0.35, which is decent. Of course there are better cars like the Kuruma for example, but it's all-wheel drive and doesn't roll over as easy as Kuruma, so that's already a big thing. Also its base performance is quite a lot better than Kuruma. And also, as you can see in the background, it has the cool Ken Block type livery, so you can use it for Gymkhana recreations whenever you feel like, as well as rallying. Overall it's a great car with great speed and handling, although some of the base stats make it a bit lacking. Also its traction loss multiplier of 0.35, although not that high, is still a bit high compared to the top of all the rally cars we get to later. Some bonus information, its price is 1.675 million, which is quite high, but it has a top speed of 187, which is nice if you have a little more asphalt sections, but on dirt roads once again the traction loss multiplier will slow down quite a lot. Next up we have the GB200, which is a really nice car to drive. For some reason it has really nice handling, which means although it doesn't compare performance wise with a lot of the cars, it can actually keep up quite well because of its, I think, pretty good suspension, also generally good grip stats, especially in scenarios where the other cars can't unleash its full performance, for example in rougher terrain. Furthermore, it also got the cool Ken Block livery, so you can also do some Gymkhana if you want. Some further information, it's priced at 940,000, which is a lot compared to some of the cars, but also not a lot compared to some other cars. I'm looking at you, the French car. And it has top speed with 184, which is not that high, but it's alright, I guess. The OB Omnis, based on the Audi Quattro, is the GOAT both in real life and in GTA 5. It has great driving properties, making for a very enjoyable drive. Although its performance is not up to par with some of the faster rally cars, which is mostly due to its mediocre base stats and also its traction loss multiplier of 0.4. However, due to its great handling, it is quite easily forgiven for these tiny faults, because it's just such an enjoyable driving experience. Some further information: its price is 701,000, which, yeah, I know it's a really weird price. Why the 1,000? No one knows. Also 699,000, way funnier. Anyways, and it has a top speed of 182, especially paired with that traction loss multiplier of 0.4 makes it quite slow, especially on dirt sections. The Issi Sport is one of the two cars I would describe as the best two rally cars in GTA 5. The Issi Sport excels in especially slow speed sections that require a lot of grip, which is the main strength of the Issi Sport. Also, its traction loss multiplier of just 0.15 helps it be very fast compared to a lot of the other cars. However, the other best rally car has a traction loss multiplier of 0, which gives it the edge on high speed off-road sections, and just off-road sections in general. Some further information about the Issi Sport: its price is 897,000, which is, for this performance, really reasonable. Even like on asphalt, this car can compete with a lot of the top tier sports cars, especially on more grip focused circuits. Then we have its top speeds of only 181, so obviously because it has such an amazing grip, it can't have the highest top speed. The other top two rally car is the Sultan Classic RS. I wouldn't give it the title of best rally car, because I think in certain scenarios Issi Sport will still beat it. But due to its traction loss multiplier of 0, makes it a very capable rally car in just overall, especially on higher speed sections, but also mid speed sections, low speed sections to some degree. But Issi Sport, if there are enough low speed sections, will still beat it, just because that base stat of the Issi Sport traction wise is so high that its traction loss multiplier of 0.15 doesn't have that much of an impact. However, they are quite close if you have a more balanced track. Furthermore, they both have all-wheel drive, giving it the edge over all the rear-wheel drive cars, and also they don't really roll over like the Kuruma, for example. Some further information: the price is 1.789 million, so a bit higher than Issi Sport, so if you're low in cash, I would go for the Issi Sport. Top speed, however, is 189, which for a rally car, as you see before, is quite high, especially considering it doesn't lose that speed off-road. Also, there's a possibility of getting the normal Sultan Classic, which is a 4-door, that's basically the difference. Also, the Sultan RS Classic has a wide body, which makes it a little bit wider, but it doesn't really matter. The normal Sultan Classic has a top speed of 188, so like 1 lower, doesn't really matter, but a tiny bit better grip, so resulting in a little bit better performance over most laps, but it looks a little less cool. So you kind of have to debate which one you want. I usually go for the RS Classic because the difference in performance is relatively small.